Okay, so here, I'm gonna make a season 5.5 tier list. This is meant for ranked play, particularly catered to higher elo. So if you'd like to learn what's good, what's bad, what's in the meta, what is not, and why, this is a great video for you to learn. Um, so starting off in the D tier, we got Black Panther. I think we all know this already. He doesn't really get anything done into Invis Gambit. A lot of supports are 275 now, which means his like spear dash combo doesn't kill anymore, which makes his like assassination potential very poor. I mean, I don't really have to go into much detail about BP. Just play the game and you'll see for yourself. After that, we have Iron Man. Iron Man is a pretty terrible character. His hitbox is big and he's slow. So that makes him just hit scan food because he's a flyer. And hit scan is very meta right now. So Hela, Phoenix, Psylocke, Star-Lord, they all just feast on this guy. And on top of that, his ultimate just gets eaten by Magneto anytime he uses it and feeds it 80 charge and makes it so Magneto can just one shots Iron Man's team. So he's kind of just working against his own team by being in the lobby. Iron Man is a pretty terrible character. He probably goes crazy in low elo because people don't look up and can't aim. But once players start getting better at the game, Iron Man is just a horrific pick. There's really no reason to ever play him, especially over any other flyer. Any other flyer would be a better option. After that, we have Scarlet Witch. This character gets buffed every season, and she's just still horrible. I think that they need to just focus in on her right click, like the like explosive burst attack. Make that her like real primary, make it faster, make it more consistent to land, and she might be a bit better. I think they need to stop leaning into buffing her ult over and over because her ult is just bad. And if you make it good, then it's oppressive. So I don't think they should really lean that route at all. They just need to make her actual neutral kit usable. Her stun is terrible. She does no damage. She has no range. Her right click is unreliable. They need to focus on that. They need to leave her ultimate alone. After that, Squirrel Girl. I'm sure most people know that. Squirrel Girl is a pretty horrific character. She has been for a long time. I don't know why she's ever received a nerf, because she's always been bottom 10 characters in this game. Um, her hitbox is really big. She basically has no cooldowns because all of her abilities are useless. She has a double jump, ability refresh, and a snare. And the snare is not even a stun because you can still put up your shield, bubble yourself, do all kinds of things. All you can, it just stops you from moving. So like that's like an okay ability, but it's still not very good, and the rest of it do nothing. So she basically just has no abilities. And then if you count the fact that in high elo people just shoot her ultimate immediately, she also doesn't have an ultimate. So she's literally just a left click machine. She doesn't do anything else. Very, very bad. She can get value on certain maps against bad people who just walk down choke points over and over and don't use their head. But anyone with a brain is going to foderize Squirrel Girl pretty easily. Um, Black Widow. Black Widow can have server admin potential. But that's very, very rare, especially in a game like Marvel Rivals, where there's a ton of cover everywhere to stand. Maps really aren't that large, and sightlines are not that long, as well as she requires a Mantis to one-shot anybody. And there's a lot of dive, a lot of mobility, a lot of shields. Like you have to have you have to be a one, you have to be a very, very good player, and two, you have to have the perfect scenario. It has to be a map like Eat Your Soul Path. You have to be playing against a comp that can't get in your face because a Venom or a Cap or an Angela is just gonna give you nightmares. Widow is pretty toxic with her like kick stun, so like running dive DPS into her is pretty obnoxious. But like any dive tank that doesn't just get two shot by her is just gonna feast on her. But if you're just insane at Widow and just hit all your one shots and you have a Mantis damage boosting you, then you can go crazy. But for 99.9% of the time, nothing is happening on you with you on this character. And then to round out the D tier, we have Hulk. This tank is horrible. He's not a threat in any kind of way. He's just kind of a walking ult battery that is like kind of hard to hit sometimes because he's jumping around. But other than that, like he's not really doing much. His neutral is horrific. His damage in the neutral is like nothing. You can ignore him a lot of the time. Like on characters like Cloak and Dagger, you can throw down your bubble on the floor and then just turn around. The Hulk can't kill you. And his ultimate is also really bad. The second you double your size on Hulk, you become a CC magnet and you just instantly die. Hulk really just serves no purpose. Anything the Hulk can do, another tank can just do it better. And this Hulk just has no niche at all right now. He really needs buffs bad. So starting out the C tier, we've got, where is she? Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger is, I'd say, is probably the worst support in the game right now. There's really no reason to play her. It's kind of similar to the Hulk, where she just kind of serves no niche. If anything she can do, another support can just do it better. If it's healing, damage, utility, ultimate, like some character does that better than her, and some characters do a lot of them better than her. The only really caveat to playing Cloak and Dagger right now is the fast ultimate, but even that isn't that extraordinary because characters like Invisible Woman get their ult just as quick, if not faster. On top of the fact that Cloak and Dagger's ult is vulnerable to being killed by Hawkeye, Magneto, Iron Man, Bucky pulled, Angela pulled, Groot pulled with his ultimate, swallowed by Jeff, like Namor wailed, like so many things can just interrupt your ultimate and you just get no value and die. Her single target healing is pretty poor, and you can only damage and heal. You have to pick one. Where on a lot of characters, you can do both simultaneously with no downtime. Cloak and Dagger has to choose which one she's doing at any given time, which is kind of bad. So unless she's doing one of them particularly strong in the meta, which right now she's not, she's really just not a viable pick. If you want a character that can do a little bit of both, you have so many better options. After that is Adam. Adam is really struggling right now. Even in triple support, in double support, he's literally unusable. But in triple support, he's still not that great. There are a lot of better options in triple support right now, particularly Mantis. Mantis kind of dominates the triple support like niche. There's really no reason to play anything else other than Mantis when playing triple support, unless she's banned. But even in that case, then you kind of just go the Ultron route or the Jeff route. Adam just kind of fizzles himself out. Like Adam, you only really pick Adam if like literally four supports are banned, and you're gonna play triple support, or like in tournaments when you have like eight support bans or something crazy. Like Adam, Adam just really has no purpose. His soul bond cooldown is way too long. For like an off support, his damage is way too low. Like he can consistently be out damaged by Mantis, Invisible Woman, even like Jeff. Like his damage is really piss poor. And his healing is obviously not very good. And it's not reliable because it's on a cooldown. He has no mobility, so like you have to play like a bunker comp with him. He can't really go anywhere if he's caught out by himself by someone who can kill him. Like he just needs help. And by help, I don't mean buff his ultimate again. His ultimate does not mean need any more buffs. The skill cap has already been removed because it instantly reses everyone at full HP. Now, there's no room for error on that. The only error is you dying during the ult. And if the Adam's dying during the ult, then you just are a horrible player because it goes through walls and it has like a 40 meter radius now or something like that. I don't actually know, but yeah, Adam is just not good at all. Um, Spider-Man. I mean, I don't really need to explain too much about Spider-Man. Everyone has played with or against their Spider-Man. And he can get value. That's why he's not in the D tier. Like the C tier means that these characters can get value, but they're not really optimal. Whereas D tier is just like these characters are pretty troll. C tier is like, okay, if you're really good on these characters, sure, fine. C tier, sorry, Spider-Man, he just struggles into Invis Gambit. He really can't kill them because they have so much self-sustain. Into other supports like Luna, he can get some work done, but into the meta, he just kind of gets roasted. Yeah, that's really it. Like a good Spider-Man who's like hitting his pulls off the map can like just carry a game, but other than that, like most of the time, you're kind of just doing air, unless you're just like top 100 Spider-Mans in the world, Spider-Man. But next up is Blade. This character gets buffed every single season, and he's still horrible. Like I'm sure there are plenty of Blade montages on TikTok and whatever, but this character is not good. Like you have to put in 5 times the work to get a value on Blade than you would need to do on any other DPS character that's better than him. Brawl already isn't in a very good spot in this meta. It never really has been in this game, and Blade is not changing that. His ult is pretty decent. Like his ult is actually not bad at all. So if he were to get buffs, I don't think they should touch his ult. But I mean, I'm not a Blade professional. I don't know like the quirks of this character and all the niches and what the things he does and what he's good at, but I just know that he's not good. You don't see Blade very often in high elo. If you do, they sometimes pop off, but sometimes they just don't. And this character just doesn't really have a presence in the lobby. You look at him and you're just like excited to shoot at him because you just think of him as a free kill. No one really looks at Blade and is afraid. Not that I know of, at least. After that is Magic. Magic isn't horrific. If you're good on Magic, you can get value, but Magic just really struggles. There are just way better dive options than her. Yeah, that's really about it. I wouldn't really recommend playing Magic. Don't really want to see this on my team, even with the Strange team up. She just doesn't have the get in and get out ability as much as some of the other like better dive characters do. She really leaves herself vulnerable after securing a kill if she could even do that, given the current meta. After that is Punisher. Punisher, again, he's not like a horrible character, but like Mag is just hard meta, and obviously we know about how Mag counters Punisher, and it requires Punisher just to receive so many resources from the Mag, or from sorry, from his own team to in order to survive a Mag ult, whether that be a Mag bubble, a shield, Loki runes. And why do all that when you can just play a character that doesn't need all that attention, right? On top of that, like Punisher's damage isn't like incredible, and there are just way better ranged hit scans in the game right now who have way faster time to kills and have way smaller hitboxes than him. His hitbox is humongous. He's very easy to kill, especially for meta characters like Psylocke and Star-Lord, whose like bullet patterns are the shape of his hitbox. So it's just like a free kill anytime he's on your screen. And also his like utility is nothing crazy. Like his turret, his smoke grenade, his zip line, like he's just a hold left click hero. Everything else he does isn't really changing the game. Um Wolverine, I think is gonna be up next. I mean, Invis is hard meta. This character does nothing into Invis, like absolutely nothing. So that's really all there is to it. If you ban Invis, this character's a lot better because he can actually kidnap people because when Niv is in the game, she just pulls him anytime he kidnaps somebody, and they unlatch, and now he's on a 12-second downtime of doing nothing because that's his whole bread and butter. So without his bread and butter, he's a pretty horrible character, and you would be better off playing anything else, like Iron Fist, who is a better version of Wolverine, but without the kidnapping, but makes up for it in his survivability and damage output. So, no real reason to play Wolverine, especially when Invis is in the game, which is anytime she's not banned, basically. Mr. Fantastic. His character got a lot better after his like most recent buffs. He used to be like probably the worst character in the game, or at the very least the worst DPS. But he's definitely a lot more usable now. They're very hard to kill, Mr. Fantastic players. And yeah, he actually does a lot of damage, surprisingly. You wouldn't think because when you're playing it or facing it, he's not hitting you very hard individually, but over the course of the game, like swiping through your whole team with his like arms, it adds up. And these characters do a lot of damage. Um, After that is the Human Torch. His buffs definitely made him a bit better. Before in the last patch, he was like actually horrible and like downright unusable. But he's a bit better now. There's like a new tech that you could do to fix his like melee tech that was removed. Not fix it, but kind of replace like the fact that his melee tech was removed. I don't know it exactly off the top of my head, but it does exist. So you could probably find it on YouTube. But yeah, his biggest issue is his downtime. And even then, like his damage has been like changed so many times that it's really hard to find him as a threat. Like it's still scary to get like one shot by like the right click plus the dive bomb combo. But other than that, he's not really that scary. After that is Storm, who I am gonna put above Torch. Storm can get some pretty decent value sometimes. She's good at damage boosting your whole team. Jeff Nato is pretty cheesy if you don't have the counters. Counters being stuff like Phoenix Ult is probably the best counter. Immediately one shots all of her shields and does like 200 damage to her, leaving her at like 50 HP basically. Salak Ult, Punisher Ult, I don't know anymore off the top of my head. Starlord Ult could work. Rocket Ult with the damage boost and everyone just like focuses it down. Like a lot of people don't realize that you can kill the Storm out of the Jeff Nato. And she doesn't have that much HP. It's like 700. So it's basically just your six people shooting at a tank, right? That tank will explode. So you can just do the same thing to to Jeff Nato. But yeah, she's decent. She's not like a downright throw pick, but she's also like not meta defining because again, hit scan is hard meta. She's a flyer, so she's gonna get shot at the sky pretty easily, especially because she has pretty low mobility. But I would say she's a bit more threatening than Torch right now because her ult is pretty cheesy when combined with Jeff. After that, I'm gonna put Hawkeye, and people might disagree with this because I keep getting one shot in GM and Diamond, but Hawkeye's really not that good. You just have to recognize that in a FPS shooter, when there are characters in the lobby that can one shot you, you have to play the game differently. You can't just play it the same way that you play all your other games when that character is not in the lobby. If you play a game like Overwatch or TF2 and you're familiar with the Widowmaker or the Sniper, you have to play covered. You have to play corners, you have to play sightlines. You cannot just be standing in the open like you do in any other game in Rivals. And especially in Rivals, people love to stand in the open, and they never play cover. So that's why Hawkeye absolutely feasts on Rivals players. But anyone with a brain would understand that a character like Hawkeye is going to get no value if you just don't peek him. And yeah, you do have to peek him sometimes, but he's not just going to hit that shot anytime you peek him. Like Hawkeye's missed a lot of shots during the game, but since you're always standing in front of him, eventually one of them is going to land. So if you reduce that uptime of you standing in front of him from like 50% of the game to 5% of the game, you'll probably never die to him. And he can't one-shot tanks. So that's one thing. And also, dive tanks just cook him because he has no stun and no mobility, except for like his double jump, but that doesn't really bring him anywhere. So, like a Venom in his face, or like an Angela, or whatever else, a Cap, they're just gonna murder him. And his ult just gets eaten by Maggle and charges it instantly fast, insanely fast, and gets his ult team killed. So Hawkeye's not very good. And against a team that knows what they're doing, people will be forced to switch off Hawkeye because they will just get no value. People go insane on Hawkeye when they're playing against bad players. That's it. Hawkeye is just a noob stomper, like Mega Knight from Clash Royale. Strange is up next. Strange is pretty in a pretty tough situation this season. He really struggles into characters like not Mag, sorry, Emma, Wolf, Iron Fist, even the Thing. He just kind of can't really keep up with the meta right now. The only good parts about his kit are his shield and his teleport. His ult gets cleansed by Gambit, and if it's not cleansed, every defensive support ult, like counters it. Especially ones where the support ulting support can't be stunned, like Luna ult. But yeah, he's not like useless because if you've played Marvel Rivals, you probably understand that you see this character in almost every game because his teleport is one of the best abilities in the game, and it probably always will be unless it gets like a serious rework, which I don't think it will, or it might. But the teleport is just like invaluable. It can completely save games, so he'll always still have a purpose. But in like a main team comp coming out of spawn to like start a game shouldn't really be strange. He gets tossed around. He can't really survive as well. He can't really take space because everyone just cooks him. And then last character in the C tier is gonna be the Thing, who I'm putting above Strange. The Thing is just like poke food. He doesn't really have the range to deal with. He doesn't have a shield, right? And he doesn't have the range to deal with characters like Hela, Phoenix, and those like ranged hit scan, Bucky, stuff like that, right? So he just kind of explodes when peeking long sight lines. So you really have to be mindful of what comp you're playing him into. In a perfect matchup, the Thing goes crazy. Like into characters that have short range and like low burst damage, like Strange, Mag, as for the tank category, right? Where you can just like punch them through their shields and they can't really just like explode you or cut you off from your team. And then like DPS like Magic and like Mr. Fantastic, right? Like team comps like that, the Thing is just like final boss. Because you never die and you're just like punching their team over and over, farming your ult, hitting your ult, earthbounding everyone. Like those games are fun too. But like into the meta, like once people like see you're playing Thing, they're gonna immediately counter swap you, and you're going to spawn every 15 seconds. So like he's very, very niche. But he's not bad. He's just really not in the meta right now. And before I go on to the next tier, I just want to clarify that I'm putting these as tiers in order of tank, DPS, and support. So I'm not saying that Thing is better than Cloak and Dagger. I'm saying that Thing is better than Strange, and I'm saying that Hawkeye is better than Spider-Man. But I'm not comparing Adam to Strange, if that makes sense. So only look at the tiers based on their role. So these two characters are not being compared. These two are. Okay. And the reason I do that is because I don't think it's fair to compare characters across roles because they do different things. Um, so after that, starting out our B tier, we have Jeff. Jeff. Jeff is really the support that you only really play when supports are banned. If Invis and Gambit are open, you should never be on Jeff. You are trolling the game. If Invis and Gambit are not open, then we can have a conversation about Jeff. Rocket is still a better support than him, so you should definitely have a Rocket in your lineup. Rocket Jeff is viable. You kind of play that when you're doing that like every man for himself comp, where everyone's just playing off angles and diving, and you don't really have like a front line and like a back line. You just kind of have everyone everywhere. Jeff is really good into that comp because, for one, he's really good at surviving. And in that comp, people don't really need healing as much because they're not standing in the front line getting shot at. So you can just hold down left click and pierce their whole team while healing anyone diving them. Jeff's whole niche is just being alive, right? Jeff is very hard to kill. He doesn't do a whole lot while he's alive, but he's alive all the time if you're playing him well. So his presence is just permanent, which is what makes him good. His ult is pretty easy to counter. You can either survive getting eaten by bubbling yourself using a like invincibility frame ability like Star-Lord's roll or Phoenix's dash. There's a lot of things you can do. You can get out of the range of it, obviously, with like Gambit's dash, Invis jump. Then you can also counter him by just killing him immediately when he comes out of the ground with like Mag ults, Phoenix ults, Bucky ult. So like this character is not really used for his ultimate too much because it's very inconsistent in its value. And the whole point of Jeff is staying alive, so you don't want to use your ult and then just immediately die, because that's defeating the whole purpose of playing Jeff, which, like I just said, is to stay alive. So the way you play Jeff really is just you use your ultimate if you just have like the perfect scenario, and otherwise you're just kind of holding on to it because you don't want to die. And you don't really be afraid to just like pop your ult, bait out an enemy team ult like a Phoenix ult, and then you just pop up somewhere safe where that ult cannot hit you. Because trading a Jeff ult for a Phoenix ult is good value. Same thing for like a Mag ult, that's good value. Because a lot of times people will just immediately hit their ultimate button when hearing the Jeff ult. So you don't have to pop up in the middle of their whole team and just get one shot. You've done your job by baiting out those ults. After Jeff is Luna Snow. Luna is kind of similar to Jeff, where it's just like if Invis Gambit are open, you should never be on Luna. And the reason for that is her ultimate just takes way too long to charge compared to those characters. Her healing is good, her utility is good, her ultimate is still good. She's she's kind of dive susceptible, so that's one thing to keep in mind, whereas Invis and Gambit are not. So that's one weakness. But also the main drawback is the fact that her ultimate just takes too long. You'll have an Invis ult at 100% by the time you have a Luna ult at 60%. And the team with the Luna just automatically loses. Like, this game very much runs on support ultimates. So you want to be staying on top of the ult charge game, or you're just going to fall behind and lose. So it's very hard to justify running Luna if Invis and Gambit are in the lobby. If they're not, then Luna becomes a pretty powerful option. You could play stuff like Luna Rocket or even Luna Loki. Those comps are viable. Ultron is up next. Where is he? Um, Ultron got some pretty good buffs in the last patch. He used to be easily the worst support in the game because he just did absolutely nothing. A lot of people are overestimating what he's doing in the lobby. People are saying that he's OP, they made him broken, and are even banning him. I don't think any of that is necessary. Ultron is not that oppressive. He's a good character, yes. But for one, he's required in triple support. You cannot play him in double support. And two, there are better triple support. Well, not, I'm phrasing it like there's several. There is one better triple support healer than Ultron, and it's Mantis. And because she does everything he does but better. So it's just like Ultron is just like budget Mantis, especially now that they made his right click damage boost and stuff like that. Like he is literally just budget Mantis. So if Mantis is banned and you really want to play triple support, then Ultron's a good pick. Ultron's still very good against characters like BP and Spider-Man. He's not that great against Spider-Man, but he's good against BP, but BP's not very good. He's good against Magic, but Magic's not very good. So he's pickable, but he's not like must have on your team. That really applies to all three of these supports right here, like Ultron, Luna, and Jeff. Like they're pickable, but they're not must picks. And if Invis and Gambit are open and you're not playing them, you're trolling. Okay. Iron Fist is next. I want to put him specifically a tier above Wolverine because I just think he's the better version of Wolverine ever since they kind of shifted direction from making Iron Fist dive into Tank Buster. There isn't really too much to say about Iron Fist. He's decent at what he does. He's not insane. He gets plowed by Emma, but yeah, he gets the job done. He's very hard to kill. And if you're good at Iron Fist, you're gonna get some work done. Nothing much to say about Iron Fist. After that is Moon Knight. Moon Knight's very like comp specific. The whole niche with Moon Knight is that he does a lot of damage in groups and he gets his ultimate very quickly. So what you need to be ensuring is that you're getting value out of his ult. If you can't do that, you're just doing nothing but charging enemy support ults. You need to make sure that your ultimate is securing kills because your left click isn't. Your left click is just charging your ultimate, unless the enemy team is bad. No one should really be dying to Onks in 2025, going into 2026. So all this character does is just farm his ultimate at record speeds. So you just have to ensure you're getting value out of it. If you're not, you need to swap. And if that means comboing with a Groot, if that means because the map geometry makes it easy for you to get kills on it, or you're just that guy on Moon Knight, then that's great. But this character has a huge hitbox. This character loses 1v1s to like most characters in the game because he's slow and has a huge hitbox and his time to kill is pretty slow, especially if he doesn't have his Onk. So yeah, this character's just good if you can just sit in the back and not get shot at and just farm your ult every 30 seconds and just use it on the back line. That's what this character does. If you can't do that, God bless. All right, Thor. Thor has gotten a lot better too. He used to easily be the worst tank in the game, but now he's definitely a viable pick. I am no longer gonna start tilting if I see a Thor on the hero select screen, because Thor can actually go crazy. His ultimate is still horrific, but his neutral has gotten so much better because he can just like spam pull or spam kidnap tanks into your team and get them killed, or he can just spam knockback tanks away from the objective or off the map. And his Rune Awakening still makes him the best 1v1 character in the game. He has a purpose now. He does. He's still not the best tank, and there are way more tanks better than him. But he's viable. He is. And a good Thor, can't hate on it. I'd say right above Thor is Venom. Venom has fallen from glory quite a bit over the last couple seasons. He used to be the best tank in the game, and he didn't. I don't. Not that I remember. I don't think he received any nerfs, but he's kind of just fallen down in usage rate and like viability. He's still like a good character. Like if you're good on Venom, you're still gonna put in work, and I've seen that a number of times. But I mean, the backlines these days just can't be dived. So like Venom struggles to get kills on his own. He needs someone to accompany him on his dives or he's going to do nothing. So yeah, Venom can work, but he takes a lot. He takes a lot. He's good at staying alive though. Venom is really hard to kill. And then right above Venom, I'm gonna put Cap. I think Cap is a bit better than Venom right now, which I could be wrong about. I'm willing to admit that I could be wrong about that. But they're pretty interchangeable, I'd say, whether or not you agree with me or not. Cap's alt buff is pretty decent. Cap kind of struggles right now though. He can't really secure kills on backlines similar to Venom. So he's just kind of like a big distraction. You just distract people long enough for your team to clean up the work on the point. He's good at stalling point. He's good at staying alive, even though Venom is better at staying alive. But Cap has a better ultimate. So it's like a trade-off. Oh, and if you can't do the animation cancel on Cap, this character is D tier. Like, do not play Cap if you don't know the animation cancel, because that's like the whole purpose of this character. He's like actually horrific if you can't do the animation cancel, which is kind of bad design, but that's just the way it is. Okay, so next up is Penny. Penny received like a 50 HP nerf, which was deserved, but she's still a good character. On certain maps, she's S tier. She's like lobby administrator because the whole game revolves around the penny once she's in the lobby, which is important, right? Because you have to change the way you're playing, you have to change what you're playing. She denies like half the roster. Melee characters are damn near unusable when Penny's in the game. And Penny also has an insane team up with Rocket, which is might be the best team up in the game, the Rocket Network. It's just so good. It makes your backline unkillable because they have 350 HP or something like that. And then there's mines everywhere, there's nests everywhere. It really changes the way the game is played when Penny's in the lobby, especially when combined with Rocket. On certain maps, she's pretty horrific, but in the right situation, Penny can be the best character in the game, especially if you're good at her. Yeah. And finally, rounding out the B tier, I have Rogue. Rogue is still pretty new, so I'm willing to like change my opinion on this. But she doesn't seem like that she's that game breaking, to be honest. Her ult is like okay. It's only really good at taking your ult from 100 to 99 and preventing you from using it. Any drain after that is pretty pointless because if you're consistently hitting your shots, you're charging it basically at the same rate you're losing it. So it's not really making any difference. And if you just like step out of the radius for like 1 second, then you're gonna gain back all the charge you lost. Like it doesn't drain your ult very quickly. So the only real good use is just preventing you from hitting that 100%, which is still good, but once people start learning about Rogue and her range that she can like easily get to with her mobility and knowing to stay out of that when she has her ultimate, she's really not going to do too much. She has very little range to begin with, and the only thing keeping her from just being like blown up every time she peeks a corner is the fact that her hitbox is pretty slim. It's just kind of hard to hit. But against like ranged poke, Rogue is just horrible. She's only really good into like characters that she can reach with her fists, which might be obvious, but with all the rogues I've been seeing in my games, that clearly isn't. Okay. So to start out the A tier, I have Loki. Um, Loki's an interesting character because he was quite bad before Gambit was released, but now with Gambit in the game, he's very good because the way Loki works is that think if anyone who plays Clash Royale, um, think of the mirror, right? The mirror is only OP when there's an OP card in the game. Think of like Phoenix Mirror, E-Giant Mirror, those kinds of things, right? So Loki is just like the mirror, and he mirrors the ultimates of the best character in the game, and he gives your team two of them. So right now that's Gambit, and when you have two Gambit ults, you just kind of win, right? Especially if the enemy team has one or none, right? If they have none, they're trolling and they're just gonna lose. But having two Gambit ults is just insane. On top of the fact that Loki obviously has gotten some pretty decent buffs in the last couple patches. He's 275, he does a bit more healing. So he's like in the neutral, he's still valuable. His runes are still one of the best abilities in the game. His survivability is good. And now his ultimate is good again because he can copy Gambit ult. If Gambit's not being played, Loki should not be being played, which is why he's in A tier instead of S tier. Just that Loki Gambit is an OP combo, and without Gambit, Loki's not that good. Loki's really good in that Loki Gambit Mantis triple support lineup. That is a very good team comp. But Loki Gambit without the Mantis is still very good too. So yeah, Loki Gambit, great comp. And Absolute Cancer to face against. Next up is Rocket. Rocket's, I mean, I think we all know by this by now. He has a high pick rate, high win rate. He kind of does everything you need out of a support. He has consistent healing. He's hard to dive, so he's constantly applying like pressure, not pressure as in damage, but pressure as in like his healing. He has his res beacon, which is like one of the best abilities in the game. It's a free res, so your team basically has seven. It's basically a 7v6, right? When Rocket is in the game. His ultimate is good. And yeah, his team up with Penny makes him even better. Um, what else about Rocket? His ult gets a lot of good value. Like I said, it counters Storm ult pretty well because everyone gets a damage boost, 40%. There isn't too much to say about Rocket. I'm sure everyone knows how good Rocket is by now. The one caveat is that he does have a slight bad matchup into Phoenix. But I say slight bad matchup because like when you rocket ult, if everyone looks at the Phoenix ult and shoots it with their 40% damage boost, the Phoenix ult is gonna instantly explode. But it's kind of like you can take it one step further and say that okay, well at high elo, Phoenixes are not dry ulting, and they're gonna ult alongside something with like a mag ult, so that swallows all your bullets and you can't break the Phoenix ult, which is true. So I say it's like a soft counter. It depends on like how good the team with the Phoenix is. If that team is bad, then she doesn't counter him at all. But if that team is good and knows what they're doing, then she hard counters Rocket, and his ult gets no value. So there's that to think about. But also there's the tech, if you aren't aware, when Phoenix ults, what you should be doing is picking up your res beacon because it's better to put your res beacon on a 5-second cooldown than a 40-second cooldown if the ult does land and the shockwave goes through and breaks all the placeables. Because by the time that her Phoenix ult lands on the ground, your res beacon will be back off of cooldown anyways, so you can just replace it. Versus leaving it on the ground and then her Phoenix ult goes off and now you lost your ult and your res beacon. Now you're useless. So you should always be picking up your res beacon anytime Phoenix ults. Like the second you hear the voice line, pick it up. Because you can always just put it right back down after 5 seconds. Okay. Next up, Mantis. Best third support in the game. Um, yeah, I mean, her damage boost makes it so that everyone on your team is doing more damage. She does great damage herself. She's probably the highest damage dealing support in the game. Her sleep is a good ability. She has a really good ultimate because it's unkiteable, because it gives our whole team speed boost as well as the healing is very, very good. It's like comparable to Invisol healing, I think. I think there's like a 5 or 10 health per second difference on those two ults. But on top of that fact that she does slightly less healing than Invisol, she gives an instant health of like 200 the second you step in her radius, which is really good and really overlooked because it makes it almost impossible for you to drop this ult. By dropping the ult, I mean pressing Q and immediately dying. I've only seen it like one time, a Mantis dropping an ult, and it was so fast that you couldn't even hear the voice line. That's how quickly. So it is possible to drop Mantis ult, which I didn't even know, but you can. And she got like headshot by a Black Widow, and you didn't even hear the voice line, and she lost her ult. But I guess that's to say that once the voice line comes out for this ult, you can't drop it unless like you just get like hard focused once you've already like dished out your healing. Um, yeah, Mantis ult, speed boost, overshield. I didn't even mention that. The overshield's also really good because it makes it so it's really hard to kill her with mag ult because she's on like 450 HP or something like that. I think it's like 400. I'm pretty sure it's 400 HP. She's on 400 HP, which makes it impossible to kill her if you have no charge on your mag ult, because a fully charged mag ult, zero charge is 300 damage, I think. Or like 350, something like that. So you can't even kill her. So yeah, her ult's really good, sleep's really good, damage boost is really good, damage in the neutral is really good. Her healing is not the greatest. It's like okay. Like her right click healing, healing flowers, it's really not that good. But it's good enough to make up for the rest of her kit, which is just like really good. And you're playing a triple support, so you'll have two more supports who can make up for the healing that she's not doing. Next up is Bucky. Oh, and I didn't mention for Mantis. Mantis' team up, insane. One of the best in the game. Top three probably, with Loki and Groot. Very good team up. Okay. Groot, Bucky. Um, no. Next up is Namor. Namor, team up merchant. If you're playing with Hela, he's A tier. If you're not playing with Hela, he's probably a lot lower. But this is under the assumption that you are playing with Hela, because that's really the only time you're picking this character. Right? Like, I'm not going to rate Mantis based on how well she does in double support, because that would be like down here. I'm rating her based on when you're actually playing her, which is in triple support. So the same thing applies to Namor. You're playing him with Hela. And with that Hela team up, it makes both of them stronger, which is really good. It gives Namor that like anti-heal slowing like wave ability. Does decent damage, and obviously anti-heal and slow is very good. And then also gives Namor and Hela undead squids, which is like a decent addition. It's not game breaking, but it's annoying and it's extra damage, which is nice. His ultimate is good. Yeah. Counter you can combo with Groot ult. You can use it to counter Cloak and Dagger ult and other support ults. Decent ultimate, decent damage. His combo with left click, right click, left click, still good. Yeah. Namor's a decent character. When paired with Hela. Without Hela, don't play Namor. Um then next up I'm gonna say is Bucky. Bucky is touted as like this like supreme overlord character. He's good, but not as good as some people make him out to be. But yeah, Bucky's still a good character. His hook is absolutely obnoxious, and his uppercut having Earthbound is also obnoxious. I get why they went that route. They want to make him like that anti-dive DPS, but it also makes him an anti-tank DPS. So that's like a double-edged sword there with that balancing decision. But yeah, Bucky's Bucky. The weakest part of his kit really is his ultimate. It's pretty inconsistent. Can get cleansed by Gambit. His ultimate's not insane, but yeah, the rest of his kit is. His damage is damage against Groot walls, his damage into tank front lines, his hooks, his uppercuts. His neutral is like top five in the game. Top five neutral. His ultimate is not insane though. So don't rely too much on Bucky ult. Just get good at hitting your hooks, and if you're hitting all your hooks, you will be Super Admin, like everyone likes to say. Okay, next up is Psylocke. Her nerfs did hit her a little bit with the charge rate, but she's still a very good character. Is she the best at DPS in the game anymore? No. But playing Psylocke, you'll still go crazy if you're good at the character. You really only, I mean, I say good at the character like this character's that hard. She's really not. If you can just aim and know what you're doing, Psylocke is pretty guaranteed value. You just kind of farm your ult off tanks, pressure back lines when you can, and ult them when you have it. If the enemy team has a Loki, you want to put extra pressure on the Loki so you can force him to rune early so that you have a free ult. Combo your ult with Gambit ult. Um, yeah, I mean, like the bread and butter of Psylocke is to just farm your ult as fast as you can and just spam it over and over and over. And then everything else is just extra if you're a really good player, like getting picks, one-shot combos, and stuff like that. Um, next up I'll say is Daredevil, who's like on the same tier as Psylocke. They're pretty interchangeable. I think the Daredevil nerf 25 HP was actually very impactful, and I thought it would be. He's still a very good character, no doubt. And Daredevil is honestly more of a server admin than Bucky. But no, there's no but to that. Daredevil's really good. Anytime Daredevil goes unbanned, I always see him in my games. And he is always going crazy. I don't like facing Daredevil. I feel like he's always on you. You can never escape. He's unkiteable, basically. Yeah. Daredevil's good. You should learn Daredevil if you haven't. Next up is Star-Lord. No, that would be the highest DPS in this tier list. Sorry, in this tier, A tier. Star-Lord's are really good DPS. Top three in the game, I'd say. As you can see, there's only 2 DPS left. Star-Lord, his ult's good. His neutral's good. His mobility's good. He survives well. His ult combos amazingly with Gambit ult. Not too much to say. Mag is good. So Mag can bubble him so he can farm his ult faster. Mag also kind of counters him a little bit with Mag ult, but not too much. Because he can't really kill you with the Mag ult. He has to kind of throw it at your team. So if your team can just like scatter when they hear the Fear Magneto, then the Mag ult doesn't really do as much, but just mitigate a few seconds of your ult. And that's if the people you're shooting at are within the radius of the Mag ult, which they might not always be. But yeah, Starlord's ult is really good. Starlord, you play him pretty similar to Psylocke, where you're just even more so than Psylocke, where you're just basically farming your ult until you get it and then using it immediately. So he is the ult merchant, more so than Psylocke. Our first tank in this tier, Emma Frost. Emma Frost has received nerfs and there's been meta changes. She's not the best tank in the game anymore. She's still ban worthy, depending on what characters you play. Um, but she kind of struggles into comps where she can't maintain 100 energy on her beam. So like comps that are taking several angles, like that Jeff Rocket comp I was talking about earlier, where everyone is just scattered everywhere and you can't really focus down one person and land your crystals on them consistently. But if you're playing like a front to back comp and the enemy team is also playing a front to back comp and you're just like hard lasering a tank all game and hitting your crystals on them over and over, then she's just like stupidly OP. Her diamond form has kind of changed in its use. You don't really use it to just like press shift and just choke slam someone really quickly. You more so use it as like a fortify from Orisa in Overwatch, where you just kind of use it to extend your own lifespan so you can keep beaming at 100 energy. Because going diamond form conserves your energy. You don't decay energy in diamond form. So you can use it to keep yourself alive when you're taking a lot of damage for the damage reduction. And you can also use it in between team fights to hold on to your energy while the other team is respawning. Because 100 energy Emma is like what you play her for. And then on top of that, her ultimate is a very good counter to Gambit ult. Because when the enemy Gambit ults, you can pop your Emma ult. And now everyone has to either hide, which wastes the timer of the Gambit ult, which is crazy value because Gambit ult is the best ult in the game. Or they have to like just tank the hypnosis, which is obviously not ideal. It also counters Starlord ult, who has a very good ult, because when Starlord ults, he goes up into the air. He's isolated, probably not near cover because he's in the sky. You Emma ult him, he gets hypnotized, he dies. Same thing with Torch and any flyer ultimate like that, like Torch ult and Starlord ult. You can hypnotize them out the air, and they die. So Emma's ult is very good. Um, yeah, I think that'll round out my A tier. Well, my only thing is, do I want to put Groot at the top of A tier or do I want to put him in S tier? I feel like I want to put him in S tier, so I'm gonna do that. So starting out the S tier with the supports, obviously. Gambit, not much to say. Well, actually, I'm gonna put Invis first because I think Gambit is better than Invis, so I'm gonna put Invis first. Invis, everyone knows about Invis. She received a lot of unnecessary buffs. She was already a very good character before her self shield and her left click speed and like all that huge buff she got in like season 4.5 I think or 5.0, one of those two. It was unnecessary and it just made her so OP for no reason. She was already a good character to begin with. She didn't need any buffs. Her self shield is broken. She's basically untouchable from a lot of the stuff in the game, like Strange Ult, Mag Ult, um, I don't know what other Namor alt. You can just shield in the direction of the center, and it can't hit you. Like the self shield is really OP. Her ultimate charges way too fast. You can get it in like a minute or 45 seconds. Um, Her damage is actually surprisingly really good. If you're lining yourself up with the enemy team while healing your team and like throwing your shifts into a lot of people and getting a lot of damage, it's charging your ult even faster and you're doing a lot of damage. Her pull is one of the best abilities in the game. It can cancel a lot of abilities and just pull people into your team to get like further out of position. One of the most notable interactions with her pull is pull on Angela because it cancels Angela's dash, making it so she can't kidnap people, which is her whole bread and butter. Same thing with Wolverine, cancels the kidnap. His whole bread and butter is gone. Um, you can push Spider-Man Ultimate off of you, so it's no longer hitting you. Like the push, you can push people off the map. Like that ability is way too loaded. Um, her whole neutral kit is just way too loaded. We haven't even talked about her ultimate yet. Her neutral kit is way too loaded and needs nerfs. Her ultimate actually isn't the most insane support ultimate in the game. There are quite a few better ultimates than hers, but her ult is still good. It slows people insanely when they're inside of it. If you ever tried to fly through an Invisult, it's like Angela or Star-Lord or Torch or anything like that, you can't move, basically. So the slow is really strong. And the ultimate, the healing isn't anything like absurd though, which I think is a good thing. Um, and the fact that you can't see people inside of the ult is also good because an enemy Gambit can't ult his own team if his team is in the Invisult. Obviously supports can't heal their tanks as well if they're in an Invisult. Um, Her ult is good against Punisher ults, whereas other support ults aren't because she hides her team so the Punisher can't line up perfect shots onto them to like just like mow them down through support ults, which he can do through other ults. Um, Same thing with Hawkeye ult. He can't get the after images if they're in a Sue ult. He has to go into the ult himself, which obviously puts him in a very compromised position. So her ult is still very good. And everything else about her character is just absurdly broken. So she's just a very good character. Gambit is the best character in the game. I mean, we all know about Gambit. I don't need to say too much. His ultimate is insane. It's a free team fight win. Um, yeah, he has really good healing, really good damage, really good mobility. I think what they need to do is take away one of his dashes so he can't do the double dash away. He can keep the double right click, but I think he should just have one dash. Because then it'll also allow you, it'll incentivize you to use the right click by itself more often. Because there's basically no reason to have the right click as its own ability. You almost always use the right click in combination with the dash to do like the spin dash. So I think having one dash will nerf his mobility and also make you use the right click by itself more often. On top of that, his ultimate absolutely needs a nerf. Does way too many things. It heals you, gives you jump boost, gives you damage boost, cleanses you, gives you ultimate charge boost. I'm probably forgetting some other things too. Like it just does way too much. Pick one thing and give it to that, please. Um, yeah, those are some pretty decent nerfs. She could probably use some more, but I'm not a game designer, so. Up next is Hela. Hela's a top 2 DPS in the game. You could argue she's number one. I think I have one DPS I do think is better than her, but you can make the argument. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't need to say much about Hela. She's been good the whole game since season 0. Everyone knows what Hela does. Everyone knows what she's good at. She's received buffs for whatever reason during this game's lifespan when she's never fallen below B tier at worst. So I think they need to revert her bird giving you shields and revert it being instant cast. As well as she could probably just use some more nerfs on top of that. The best DPS in the game, in my opinion, is Phoenix. Phoenix kind of just does everything. She's a long range hit scan with a stun, an invincibility frame dash, flight, a good ultimate. Phoenix, she can self-heal herself after dashing. It procs a heal over time. Phoenix is good. Very good. Phoenix is open, you should play it. If you don't play Phoenix, ban Phoenix. That's really all I gotta say. She basically does the same thing that Hela does, but better. And no, I don't want to hear about, oh, well, Hela can two-shot. That's not really happening. Except at point blank range. And Phoenix can do the same thing at point blank too. Phoenix also two-shots at point blank. So the two-shot argument doesn't really matter. Phoenix, in my opinion, is better than Hela. Both of them are very good though. Very, very good. And you'd be well playing either of them. Okay. So my first tank in the S tier is gonna be Groot. I was thinking of putting him in A tier, but I think he deserves the S tier. Um, his buff to his Iron Wall makes it so he's kind of unpunishable, which I don't think is a good idea. Because before the counter to Groot was that if he was out of position, he would explode because he would get hooked or CC'd or kidnapped or whatever else. But now you can't do that because he can put his Iron Wall behind a wall and it'll give him CC immunity through walls. So I think we should fix that. But his ultimate is good. Like, I'm sorry, his ultimate is great. A well-placed Groot ult can wipe a whole team, especially when comboed with other ults like Namor ult, Moon Knight ult, um, Bucky ult, Phoenix ult. You get the idea. And his damage in the neutral is also good. His utility in neutral is very good because he can wall off people, which obviously, I mean, that doesn't need explaining. Yeah, Groot's a very good character. He has a lot of HP, so he's very hard to kill, especially when in range of his Iron Wall, his HP can go up to like 1,000 with the shields that it gives him over time. So yeah, Groot is a monster, and I think he deserves the S tier. Next up is Angela. I think like the low elo players don't really know about the Angela, but Angela is a raid boss. She can just completely take over a game if she's not taken care of. Her kidnaps are insane value. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Angela. I mean, just play her for yourself. She hard counters any flyers because she just controls the skies. She's a flying tank, so she beats any flying DPS in a one-on-one. She's very good at chasing down flankers like Spider-Man and Psylocke, and obviously beats them in one-on-ones too. So she's a flank guard, she's a sky guard, she kidnaps tanks or supports or DPS. She can kidnap anybody, bring them into your whole team. And her ult, if not cleansed by a Gambit, is basically just another Groot ult. So, yeah. If Invis and Gambit are in the game, she gets a lot harder to play. Still S tier, but just harder. But if Invis and Gambit are not in the game and they're banned, which happens pretty often, at least in the higher tiers, Angela must be taken out of the game. Like, you have to ban the Angela. Or she will decide who wins the game. And it's just whoever has the better Angela. Because if Invis and Gambit are not in the game, Angela just has free reign on anything. She can do whatever she wants, and nobody's stopping her. Except for the skill of the user. Okay, and then finally, best tank in the game, Mag. Mag does everything. Mag does not need two bubbles. Mag has a one-shot combo with left click, right click, left click. Mag has two bubbles. He can bubble himself and a teammate. Mag has a shift, his shield, which absorbs everything for like 2 seconds. Mag's ultimate absorbs most things, charging up his ult, making it so he can kill enemies with it. Mag is just kind of like the gatekeeper of the game. He keeps a lot of things in check. Hela ult, Star-Lord ult, um, Ultron ult, Hawkeye ult, Torch ult, Punisher ult, Cloak and Dagger ult, Iron Man ult, so many things. Jeff ult, Like Mag, Mag is just like you need this character like on your team almost all the time. Like there's very few situations where you shouldn't be running a Mag. You can just this is just the kind of character you can just pick at any time in any situation and almost always get value because Mag always has an answer to something. Like it's kind of like if you play Valorant, it's like Omen. Omen always has something he can be doing. He can be teleporting, he can be smoking, he can be blinding, he can be holding angles. Like Omen always has something he can do. He's never out of options. Same thing applies to Mag. There is always an answer to whatever scenario you're in when playing Mag. You're never helpless on Magneto. You can always do something. And that's just like the definition of a character that you should always have on your team. And that's why he's the best tank in the game. So this is my tier list. Leave any comments, suggestions down below. I'll read them. I might not agree with you, or I might will. This is catered towards, obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, higher tiers of play. So this might not apply to your gold or plat or diamond or even GM games. This is more so my experience in playing with and against Celestials, Eternities, One Above Alls, playing against and with pro players, top leaderboard, watching like pro tournaments, but obviously I don't know everything and I don't know everything perfectly. So I'm willing to hear suggestions.